Hi, everybody. I want to share a story with you, and this is an experience that I had yesterday. It was my first experience with Reiki, and also my first experience with a medium. And this was a really, really positive experience. I trusted my being led by spirit in this, being led by my best spiritual discernment in this, if I wanted to do this. And my spiritual discernment led me to feeling that this was a good thing to do, and that the energy of the person who was the medium I'd be seeing was good. It was at an expo, a holistic healing expo. And the first thing that I did whenever I got there is I did Reiki. It was my first ever time doing Reiki. And I did 15 minutes for $20. Up until this point, I've been a skeptic of Reiki. I didn't really understand it. I didn't really see how, like, it could be, how it could work, or any of that. Like, I just didn't know. And I tend to not believe something unless I can hear testimonies of it, or like evidences of it that make sense, and they can't sort of be like rationalized away, or if I have to have an experience of it that I can't deny. And that's exactly what happened yesterday with this Reiki experience. The other day I had been telling my cousin something about what I was experiencing in my life, about how, like, I feel like I'm constantly trying to, like, force things to come out of me. I'm trying to force things to happen in my life. And that I think that I need to get back to the simplicity of meditation, because I haven't been really doing meditation. I've been sort of on a hamster wheel. And I said that I think I just need to let go and let flow, and sort of trust that, things are going to work out if I just relax. And I just let things move, let myself move. And my cousin told me that she thought I had a solar plexus blockage, that it sounded like a solar plexus blockage. Solar plexus is it's the stomach chakra, and it relates to confidence, self-esteem, motivation, productivity, and it can be blocked and you can feel stuck. And I was like, okay. And she said that I should get a Reiki session, and that they'd be able to work on that. So I did this Reiki session, first time ever. It was a very beautiful being. She was very caring, very nurturing. And I laid down on my back, and I put a blindfold on. I couldn't see anything. And I put headphones on that was playing sound healing music, so I couldn't hear anything. And what they do in Reiki is they just hover their hands above your body. They don't touch you. They just hover their fingers, and they move energy in through the chakras, and they can sort of like pull the energy out, or pull the blockages out. And during this experience, I didn't really notice anything in the beginning. Wasn't really noticing much, but I did do some breathing. I did some breathing, and I sort of consciously tried to channel energy. It was pushing energy down into my feet, channeling energy into my feet. And then closer to the end of the Reiki session, I felt a lot of tension, a weight that had been on my stomach. It lifted and it just released. It released. I could feel like it drawing upward. It was releasing. And after I took the blindfold off and the Reiki session was over, I asked her, what did you notice? Like, where could you feel things? Like, where were you working at? And she told me, a lot in your stomach, in the solar plexus. I felt like, she said, I felt like I wanted to just pull that up and sort of toss it out. And then she also said that there was a lot moving down through the legs and out through the feet, which was what I was doing consciously on my end. And so, I've already had, meditation experiences where I have felt energy pulsating in the third eye. Pulsating energy. And yesterday's experience, what I saw was a corroborated, an uncorroborated, whatever you would call it. I didn't know what she was doing whenever I had the blindfold on and I was receiving Reiki. And what I experienced on my end specifically matched what she said she was doing and what she experienced on her end of the Reiki. And so all this time that I've spent just not being sure if I believed in Reiki, that time has come to an end. And I fully believe in Reiki now. And I believe that they, just given how I feel today as well, even just experiencing the after effect, I feel clear. I feel like there's been a blockage released. I feel more confident, more aligned, have more self-esteem. And so this has opened up a whole new dimension of my journey now, of understanding that I've got to take care of my energy hygiene. I have to take care of it. And I can continue this Reiki journey to work on my energy and to clear blockages and to improve and get better. And I'm actually even considering, further along this journey, learning how to give Reiki myself, because I want to help people. I always have wanted to help people. I wanted to be a therapist at one point. I thought about going to school for psychology. It's interesting, my cousin actually wants the same thing. She's talked about the same thing. And we both talked about getting training in Reiki. Now, the second part of this experience at the expo was a medium. And this medium was recommended to me by my cousin Lacey. And she told me that this medium was spot on, that he doesn't ask for any information from you. You know how there's some, like, so-called psychics and mediums, where they actually ask you a lot of questions, and they're fishing for information from you that they can then sort of spin as their reading, they're seeing something. But this guy didn't do any of that. I sat down there, and he just, right out of the gates, he told me things about myself that he couldn't possibly have known if it weren't true that he was reading in a psychic manner. He said, "You're very analytical. I'm hearing they're telling me about science and computers. You've got a scientific mind. You're very left brain. You're very rational, logical, and, analytical." Now, whenever I was in middle school, I was so into computers. Computers, everything. I was programming. I was, like, analyzing and, like, studying and learning about computer operating systems. I loved computers. The computer was my thing. And he went on to tell me some more things that were very, very striking. And I learned a lot. He told me about how I hold a lot of tension, how my mind is racing. There's so much information overload, and that whenever I talk to people, I can give them so much information. I'm a talker. And that another thing is that I'm high strung, and that I need to calm down. I need to work on calming down, releasing all that tension, and learning how to be more calm in socialization. And he gave me a crystal called sodalite to help with the calm. And he told me a very specific plan for how to do meditation to work on this calm. He told me that I need to stop hiding so much. I need to stop hiding my true self and having this weird dichotomy between withdrawing from others and not liking to be around people, not liking to talk to people, and sort of just like information overloading them and talking. And he also told me that he was hearing the number 7, or the month of July, and that the month of July is a manifestation month. This past July is whenever I went to a holistic spiritual party, and I discovered this amazing Ayurvedic superfood called shilajit. And I met some really good friends that I still know very well today, and still really good friends with them, and the friendships are growing. My circle is growing, and it's that month of July, that has led to me starting Sheila Cafe. Sheila Cafe is going to be starting very, very soon. I'm within like the next week, as soon as I can go and get labels for my jars. My car is currently broken down, and I just need to get to out to get labels and have my car so I can go get shipping labels printed whenever I am ready to start shipping the product. Got 3 people who already want to buy, 3 pre-orders for Shila Cafe Shiliji. Yeah. Month of July was the start of what has led to me starting a holistic tea business. And it was my month of manifestation. There was no denying that what he was doing was real. I didn't give him any information. He didn't already know me. He just sat there and just said these things with no prior knowledge, as if he knew me. As if he knew me. And what it felt like, actually, it wasn't like my future was being read. I was meeting with a fortune teller. It was like I was sitting across the table with somebody who knew me for quite a while, and he was giving me man-to-man advice, knowing all of what I struggle with, my personality flaws and my inner world, and telling me how I can move forward. Like I had sat down and I had had a conversation with him, and I had discussed everything that I experienced, and he was talking me through it, except I told him nothing. I don't believe that there is this universe, this ridiculous idea of a universe where spiritualism isn't real, and that it's all material, and that everything's a product of our brains, and that all of anything supernatural or beyond material is just things that we're imagining or tricks of the mind. Not at all. I am so far beyond that. So far beyond that paradigm, that lunacy. You can't unsee once you see. You really can't. I feel that yesterday and the Reiki session and the medium clarified, validated something about my path, about my journey, being very clear that I am on a journey to holistically heal, to grow spiritually. Things have been like sort of dicey. Things have been sort of dicey.